perpetual question is, does size actually matter in the world of martial arts? And the answer is complicated. You see, functionally speaking, at some point size does in fact matter, because we all have limits to our abilities, to our strength, and to the, even to the extent and effectiveness of our lever arms, which is, our musculature. Being shorter has some advantages and disadvantages, being taller has some advantages and disadvantages, being heavy, being light, everything in between, all has advantages and disadvantages. But I want you to understand something. See, I've been intrigued by a book, and I finally bought it. It's called The Art of Hojo Undo. My Japanese is terrible, so I apologize if I butcher the pronunciation. But it's about traditional power training for Okinawan karate. And the interesting thing is, when you start looking back through martial arts, you look back through, Japan, and then China, and India, and Mongolia, and Korea, and Greece, and Turkey, and Egypt, and Ireland, and all of it. There has always been kind of an impetus for physical development beyond just perfecting technique, because we all know that being stronger, faster, of better health will enhance our fighting ability. But we have seen that diminutive people can in fact pull off very, very great abilities. People will point to Bruce Lee, and I will tell you that Bruce Lee was a freak of nature. He trained his ass off, and he earned everything that he got. But he was just a freak. He was ridiculously strong, especially for his size. But in general, he was ridiculously strong. He was inhumanly fast. He was very well educated, trained with a variety of people, and absorbed the information very well. So he's not a good example. But the two best examples that I know of, at least in popular martial arts history, are Helio Gracie and Ip Man. Now, Helio Gracie was average height for today, it's not like 5'8", 5'9", something like that, and 160 pounds. He was fucking skinny. He was not strong at all. He was not strong. And he had to adapt the Japanese jiu-jitsu that he had learned in Brazil. He learned mostly from his brothers. He did have a Japanese teacher at some point, but mostly he learned from his older brothers. And he had to change the leverage points to make it so that he could perform the moves that they could out-muscle him on. And he did it. And we see now that, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there is a difference, but Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has in fact now reached its way back to Japan, where they are reintegrating it, because the leverage points are so much smoother, so much more technical. Then you look at Wing Chun. Ip Man was 5 feet tall, 120 pounds. I know bigger girls. I know stronger girls. And I don't mean fat. I mean average healthy girls, or even fit girls. And this is not to detract male from female, it's just to illustrate the common differences. Ip Man was tiny. He was tiny. Just by contrast, I'm 6'2". I weigh 215 pounds. 6'2", 215. I'm officially a heavyweight. Not a very heavy heavyweight, but I'm officially a heavyweight. Ip Man would have stood like to here on me, or something like that. I haven't measured 60 inches, it's 5 feet. I haven't really measured it, but it's below my shoulder. And 120 pounds, like literally 100 pounds lighter than me. That is light. I have sparred with 150 pound guys that I could throw around like rag dolls because the size difference. It's not that their skill was bad, it's just that the size difference was so massive. It was easy for me to out-muscle them because their leverage was either not correct or their leverage was simply not enough. So I will tell you this, that size does matter to a point, but you have examples like Helio Gracie and Hitman who dominated against people who were much larger than themselves. And it's because they developed an understanding of structure, timing, leverage, angles, fight psychology. They understood those things to a degree where it beautifully bridged the gap between size and strength and skill. Most people nowadays that I talk to have an understanding that it takes a lot of skill to overcome that gap of brute force, especially once the stress levels hit and your skill levels start degrading. You really need that skill to fall back on to make up for that disparity. If you have trained well and you have trained intelligently, this will not be a problem, for the most part. However, I highly recommend that you begin physical training beyond just your martial arts training. I really highly recommend that you at least start bodyweight exercise, natural kind of training, whether it be MoveNat or parkour, TACFit, CrossFit if you want to go up a level, powerlifting. Stay away from things like bodybuilding and fitness model development. That stuff isn't functional, but do something to increase your musculature. One of my younger Kung Fu brothers has gone from being this kind of stick figure weakling to really quite strong, and he can put a lot of power into his punches now. I dare to tell you that he could actually hurt me despite the fact that he weighs about 130 pounds. But it's because he has spent some time outside of the school putting in work to develop his body in such a way that though he's not really putting on mass, he is adding a significant amount of strength. And you can do it too. You just have to put in a little extra legwork. That's all I got for you. It's enough for today, and I will talk to you guys later. Good journey.